Welcome to Jeff, Still Figuring It Out. And I'm Jeff, and this is my podcast. And this is simply a place where I think out loud about life, work, identity, responsibility, and the things we don't always slow down long enough to examine. No experts here. Just curiosity, reflection, and the recognition that most of us are still figuring it out as we go. People keep asking me the same question, and you can imagine what it is. How's the new job? And I've noticed I give the same answer every time, like most people do. Yeah, it's good. It almost comes out before I even think about it. You know, like I've already answered the question before they finish asking it. How's the new? Good. It's really good. Job's good. And I'm just saving time. And it's not that that's wrong. It's just, of course, not really the answer. It's more like the approved answer. What are people really doing when they ask, how's the new job question? They're not asking for detail or nuance or anything complicated. And I do need to say this now. I do appreciate it. It's nice that people check in. It means they care, or at least they're thinking about you. But it's also one of those things that you're kind of supposed to do. Like it would be weird not to ask. So we ask. An answer is provided, and then everyone just keeps moving. Because if a simple answer is not provided, now we've got a situation. Now there's an obligatory follow-up question, and nobody really wants the follow-up question. I mean, no one's looking for the detail or reality at any time during the how's the new job question. And no one wants to provide a real answer, well, on Tuesday I had a minor identity crisis between meetings. Nobody wants that kind of real life detail. That's not what we're doing here. And we do this with so many things. How are you? How's work? How's life? And you almost always get the same answer, like the new job question. How are you? How's work? How's life? Busy. Always busy. And there's levels to it. Yeah, it's been crazy. It's been nonstop. Back to back all week. And then it almost turns into a competition. Everyone has that one person, friend, neighbor, family member. You ask how are you? How's work? How's life? And then it's off. You get the full rundown. Everything they got going on, how busy things are, how challenging the job is, and the good work that they're doing. The work travel, the kids and wanting to be there, the hectic schedule, all of it. And that's okay. I get it. Work is a big part of how people see themselves. I've talked about that before. And for some people, that's where their identity lies. And that's fine. And I think that's why questions like, how's the new job, or what do you do? They carry a little more weight than they seem to. One is asking for an update, the other is asking for a definition. But they're kind of pointing at the same thing. Work is a way to understand someone. How is the new job? How is the job? Understanding what you do. Work is a way to understand someone. I mean, recently, I just find myself not really caring about any of it at this point, unless, of course, unless it feels real. Not the version that sounds right or expected, but the version that actually is. There's a difference. And you can feel it pretty quickly. No one ever says or answers, how's the work question with, honestly, pretty manageable right now. I have time to think. That answer doesn't really play. You know, people don't want to get found out that you're not busy. It will diminish how important your job is, etc., etc. Every once in a while, though, someone doesn't give the script answer. They actually answer the question of how's work question. And you can feel it. I mean, the conversation slows down a little. It gets real. But you don't always know what to do with that either. So busy, it's like we've been trained to say it. Busy sounds productive. It sounds important. It sounds like you have emails. And emails, they feel like the proof that you exist. The calendar. And, I've already noticed it with the new gig. Your calendar fills up really fast. It's, almost like, and I'm sure many can relate to it, if there's empty space, someone comes along just to claim it. And then you look at your week, and it looks important. I think, though, that sometimes we're not answering these types of questions. We're answering what we think the person, we're answering what we think the question is supposed to mean. And this really hit me. I was in Ireland recently. And one thing I noticed, people don't really ask this question. What do you do? It just doesn't come up the same way. And from what I've seen and experienced, that's pretty consistent across a lot of Europe. Work just isn't the first thing people go to. They'll first ask you where you're from, what you're into, who you're with, but they don't immediately ask the what you do question, if at all. And it's noticeable. The conversations, they feel different. A little less defined in a good way. And it's some of these questions, it's not just work type questions. There are other questions like this. When people find out I served, there's one thing you almost always hear. Thank you for your service. I mean, I've noticed it myself and I've talked with other veterans. You don't really know what to say to that. I mean, I say thank you, but it always feels a little off. Like we both know that's not really a complete exchange. And sometimes I'll say, it's great that you say that, and I appreciate it, but a better question instead of the thank you for your service or statement might be, what did you do? Where were you stationed? something that actually opens up a conversation. But then, like these other things, how's the new job, how's work, etc., then it becomes a conversation. And people are busy. So we don't do that. We just stay in the simple version. The version that fits in a moment, even if it doesn't really say much. And I think that's kind of the point. We stay in the simple version because the real version takes longer. And that brings me back to the question, how's the new job? Because the truth is, it's a lot of things. I mean, if I actually tried to answer this instead of, yeah, it's good. And you know what? There's a part of me that wants to answer it in a completely different way. Like, how's the new job? And my answer, they've got a lot of snacks. They bring in lunch on Mondays, bagels and donuts on Tuesdays. It's fantastic. And the coffee's good, so's the tea. The office looks great. It's very modern. Although I do get turned around a lot because everything kind of looks the same, which I'm sure is part of the design. And none of that is what people are asking. But I've also thought maybe that's not a bad way to answer these questions. If you're trying to keep your identity from getting completely tied to work, maybe the better answer isn't how important it is, how busy you are, the rote, how's the new job, it's great. Maybe it's just what it actually feels like to be there. The small things. Instead of talking about how important it is and your emails and calendar, maybe it's talking about the snacks, the coffee, getting lost in the office, just what it's like. But if I actually tried to answer it, how's the new job? The company's pretty great so far. Good people, nice people. It's probably the first place I've been where it feels proactive. When something comes up, there's actually a way to deal with it. There are processes, which sounds simple, but it's not always a given. And the people seem, bought in, not in a weird robotic way. It just feels normal in a good way. But again, none of that really fits into the quick answer. And like I've said, I've tried to answer it differently a couple times, just slightly. Not the full answer, but something a little more real. This little experiment. And it's interesting. You can feel, again, the conversations change. Sometimes it slows down. People, sometimes don't know quite what to say. And sometimes I don't know what to say next. Like, engaging into a real conversation about this stuff. So, like I said, I don't always do that. Most of the time. I just answer yeah, it's good. I don't really have a point here. It's just something I've been noticing. How often we ask questions and give answers that are just close enough. So yeah, it's good. Busy too, apparently. And thanks for listening. This has been Jeff, still figuring it out. I'm Jeff, and like most of us, I'm still trying to figure it out as I go. We'll talk more soon.